Okay, we're going to try this one more time. All right, so quick video on how to both visualize and playback audio that is in the ultrasonic frequency range. All right, so background is I'm doing this for a project where I'm looking at mouse ultrasonic vocalizations, so mouse behavior and their social calls to each other. And I'm using different software that I might make a video about in the future to actually use a neural network to pull out when those events are occurring, because I have tons of data. But this is just going to be about visualizing and then playing it back, so you can actually hear what the might sound like in the ultrasonic band. Okay, so I'm using Audacity 3.4.2, which works just fine for this purpose. And so what we're going to do is you're going to first open a audio file that includes ultrasonic band or spectrum data. So I've already identified one of these files. I've got many of these. But one file that actually includes ultrasonic calls in the first couple of seconds of the audio. So when you load the data, it's going to first appear as like this in Audacity. The first things you're going to do is click on the title of the track, and you're going to change it to spectrogram from waveform. So you're going to get something like this, which looks great. So you can see over here, this is the frequency range that you're visualizing. It goes from about 0 to 20,000 or 20 kilohertz. And this is not actually the full range of this audio file. So first thing we're going to do is you can right-click. You're going to right-click on this, and you can change this from mel to linear. And so now you can see that it goes up to 20,000 hertz. And then from there, what we can do is you can also right-click. You'll go to here, you'll click on the audio track, and that little drop-down arrow, and we're going to go to spectrogram settings. So now we've already set it to linear. You can change it back to mel here, of course, but we want it on linear, and you'll see that it says minimum frequency 0 hertz, and we want it to go for this audio track, it actually goes up to 125 kilohertz. So we're going to just put it to that so we can see all of the data, and we'll hit OK. All right, so now we can actually see all of the data, which is great. If you click inside anywhere here, you can get this color. If you click here, it'll highlight the entire track. So the first thing we want to do, some keyboard shortcuts that are super useful for what we're going to be doing here. If you hit Shift and then roll your mouse to the left or right, you can see that we move from left to right along the time axis, which is fantastic. Right now we're going all the way. It's showing, I guess it's only 12 minutes of audio. We can also hit Control again here, and we can zoom in. So we can zoom in on the time axis, and again we can use those shift keys to move to the left or the right. So I'm going to go all the way to the front, and I'm just going to hold down Control and can keep zooming in. And so now we can start to see some structure in the data. So again, we're at the very beginning of the time, and so we are looking at really just the first 2 seconds worth of data here, or audio data. And we're looking at across the entire frequency band. You can also, if you hold down Control and hover over this frequency band, you can actually zoom in on a particular frequency, way zoom in, and you can zoom out by rolling back. You can also and so if you zoom in, I think if you use the Shift key and then switch to holding down the Shift key and then using your scroll wheel, you can move up and down the frequency band, and again you switch to Control to zoom out. I like having the zoomed out view. I think that's the best way to actually visualize the data. So first things first, let's say you just want to play back what you're seeing on screen. So what we can do is you can use the selection tool, and we can just highlight a portion of the data. Okay, so we've highlighted this, this time point from basically, let's go back. So let's just play the first second of data. So we'll go from 1 to 0. What you can do is you can go down to the selection tool. You can see that it has a timestamp, and it says we're playing basically the first second down to the first, or down to the start of the track. And if we just hit this play, you'll hear sort of the background noise, and you should be able to be picking that up through the mic. Right, so that's playing 1 second worth of data. Now what you can do is you can use this slider, and your slider might look a little smaller when you open it, but you can just adjust that here to get a little bit more precision. We can move the playback speed all the way down to something like 0.16, and this is both going to slow down the playback speed of the track. It's also going to shift down the pitch or the frequency of the track as well. So I'm going to do a slightly shorter section of the track and let you hear what that sounds like. Okay, so that's actually still pretty fast, and you actually still can't hear the ultrasonic vocalization. Let's just do that one more time. Okay, so you can't hear it. So let's go down even further to like 0.05. Okay, great. Now you can start to hear it. So now that pitch of the that ultrasonic vocalization is coming down far enough so you can actually hear it. Let's go down a little farther. So I'm going to have 0.01. Oh, it's a little slow. That's a little slow. I think that's a little slow. So I think at 0.01, 0.02, maybe 0.02 seems good. Okay. So for some people, that enough right there is good. You can do a sanity check that your data's there, that you can hear it, you can look at cool vocalizations. That's fine. You can even do a screen capture, sort of like what I'm doing, using the Windows Game Bar or using software like OBS, which is what I'm using currently, to actually like record this, crop the video, show it in a PowerPoint presentation. Very useful if you're trying to demonstrate, some of the variation that we can see in animal vocalizations or any audio that you happen to be analyzing. But I want to go a little bit further. So you can see that I have a lot of noise in this data. Both in the lower audible range, so down here below 20,000, and then also I have this repeating pattern, which is really annoying, up at around 116,000 hertz, and this is coming from an infrared light that's close to where my microphone is, where I'm recording the animals. So I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to show you how to do that to clean up the audio a little bit. I'll just play the audio really quick one more time so you can kind of hear that repeating, annoying a noise that I'm trying to get rid of, and then I'll show you how to get rid of it. Okay, so you should have been able to hear that like annoying beeping noise and that kind of low rumble. I'm going to show you how to do basically a bandpass filter both above and below a certain audio cutoff using Audacity, so you can get rid of that. All right, so what you're going to do, first thing you're going to do is you're going to click here on the track, and that's going to gray out the entire track, which means you've selected it. You're going to go to Effect, you're going to go to EQ and Filters, and you go to this Filter Curve EQ. All right, so I'm going to quickly revert this back to the factory presets. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you open it for the first time. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to change this to linear frequency scale, which I think is just easier to visualize. And you're going to basically click in a few different areas. So what you're going to do is you're going to click once, it doesn't really matter where, twice, again and again. And essentially what you're going to do is now you can drag these points to any location. You can click more, but just do 4 times. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click this and we're going to drag it to where we want to put our first cutoff. So I'm going to max it out all the way at 30 decibels. This works for me. There might be some more precision about how you're supposed to do this, but this works for me. I think for when I'm actually analyzing this data, I probably would do a cutoff all the way down at 20,000 hertz, but for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to cut it off a little bit closer to where the band is where we're seeing these vocalizations within the first couple seconds of data. So you can see that the vocalizations are sort of starting above 65,000 and they're below 115. So that's where I'm going to set it. So we're going to move this all the way up to 65,000. We're going to take the second one and we're going to drop it. You're going to see it maxes out. You can't drag it any farther to the right. And we're just going to bring it all the way down to the bottom. Okay? So that means we're going to cut out all frequency bands below 65,000. We're going to take the second one and we're going to drop it right at 115. And again, this other one, you see we can move this down there and bring it all the way to the bottom. Okay, so now we have this square, essentially. And that means we're only going to get the data between 65,000 and 115. And we can go ahead and hit apply. And again, this is 200 megabytes worth of data, about 10 minutes of recording. And so that's going to apply it to that entire spectrum. Oh, I think I must have done 105. So I'm just going to fix that. So I'm going to do Control-Z, get rid of it, and we're going to just do it again. So back to the filter curve EQ. Yeah, so oopsies, I think I meant to put that over here. My bad. So now we're at 115, excuse me. So now we're at 115, okay, and we're going to hit apply. So recording, great. Okay, and so now we're in that band that we actually want. Okay, perfect. So now we can go ahead and click, and we can do essentially the same process again. Let's just start with this for now, and we can hit play. And so what you should be able to tell right away is that we already have it's louder, but it's also a cleaner sound. We're not getting that high-pitched pulsating noise, and we're not getting the lower frequency noise either. So we can just select all of this, this first second. And again, the selection actually doesn't really matter. It's just going to play like in the frequency band. It's not going to select within this. It's just going to play the entire audio track from the start and stop time. I realized I was muted there. Whoops. Anyway, I'll say it again. Basically, I might make a future video showing that there are other softwares available to actually analyze like counts and frequencies and types of call types that are in your data, and that's made by other scientists who are great at coding and care about bioacoustics and have put that information out and that software out into the world. It's freely available for anyone to use, and so you should use it. And this can be used for, again, not just ultrasonic data, but lots of other types of audio data as well. Okay, cool. That's it.